Today, we're cracking open one of the most legendary ninja manuals ever written, the 17th century Bansenshukai. And we're going to focus on two very specific, very strange volumes, 16 and 17, all about opportunities bestowed by heaven to uncover a really surprising secret about the shinobi.
So when I say ninja, what do you picture? It's probably shurikens, right? Or maybe a katana, smoke bombs, incredible infiltration skills. And yeah, all of that was definitely part of the arsenal.
But what if I told you that one of their most powerful weapons, according to them, was something you'd never expect? It was their deep, tactical understanding of the heavens. No, seriously, the heavens. So let's look at these two volumes. The title, Tenji, translates to Opportunities Bestowed by Heaven. And when you first look through them, you see stuff that looks like straight-up astrology, divination, fortune-telling, the whole 9 yards.
It seems more like something out of a fantasy novel than a practical field manual for an undercover operative, doesn't it? So, what is really going on here? Were these highly trained specialists actually using magic on their missions? Well, the answer, believe it or not, is hidden inside a fascinating debate in the manual itself.
The manual lays out this incredible conversation between a very skeptical emperor, Taizong, and his absolutely brilliant general, Li Jing. And this little dialogue is the key to understanding everything. It gets right to the heart of why heaven was so critical to a ninja.
Okay, so check this out. The emperor is basically saying, this divination stuff is useless superstition, let's just get rid of it. But his general, Li Jing, comes back with this stunningly practical answer. He says, no, we can't throw it away. It's not about whether we believe it, it's because by using it, we can manipulate, and I'm quoting here, the coward and the stupid.
And that right there is the entire secret. It was never about telling the future. It was about weaponizing what other people believed about the future. For the ninja, the art of war was a path of deception, and things like astrology were just another sophisticated tool for psychological warfare.
So how did this work in practice? Well, the main strategy was to take the superstitions that their enemies held so dear and turn those beliefs into weapons against them.
They'd study things like the 5 elements, not because they were planning their day around it, but because it helped them profile their enemy. Let's say, a rival general has a fire personality, hot-headed and impulsive. You can use that. You can predict he'll react rashly under pressure. It's like having a cheat sheet to the enemy's psychological operating system.
I mean, this was basically 17th century psyops. If you know your enemy thinks a certain day is unlucky, you attack on that day to plant fear in their minds. If they believe attacking from the northeast is a bad omen, guess which direction you're coming from. You could completely demoralize an army before a single sword was even drawn.
But, and this is super important, opportunities from heaven wasn't just about exploiting superstition. The other half of it was all about pure practical science. It was about carefully observing the natural world. Ninja were expert weather forecasters. And think about it. If you're planning a secret infiltration mission, knowing when a big storm is about to hit is absolutely crucial, right? Wind and rain are the perfect cover. They mask your sound, they obscure your movement. This wasn't mysticism. This was critical, life-saving intelligence. And here's maybe the most brilliant example of all. The manual has a whole poem on how to tell time just by looking at a cat's eyes. You know how their pupils change shape throughout the day in a really predictable pattern? That's not magic. That is just brilliant data collection from a very unconventional source, a furry purring clock.
So when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway from these heavenly opportunities? It really comes down to a specific mindset, seeing the world as a system of predictable patterns you can exploit.
The real genius of the ninja, at least according to the Bansenshukai, was combining these two things. On one hand, you have the predictable, if irrational patterns of human belief and superstition, and on the other hand, you have the predictable, scientific patterns of the natural world. Mastering both was the key.
The ultimate goal was to have a mind that was totally clear, like a perfect mirror reflecting things exactly as they are. It wasn't about believing in the omens yourself. It was about seeing everything, including other people's beliefs, with total, cold objectivity, all to gain a tactical edge.
And it really makes you think, doesn't it? Today, we're not looking at cat's eyes for the time, but we are looking at stock market trends, voter psychology, social media algorithms. The tools have definitely changed, but that ancient art of finding and exploiting the invisible patterns all around us, that's still the path to victory.